the left is basically relegated to just shouting at the wind about how Donald Trump is a mean, bad man. The latest form of this comes courtesy of a film festival in Cannes. So the film festival over there, obviously, is where all the she people get together to watch films that no one will ever watch in real life. There's a movie called The Apprentice about Donald Trump's rise to power in America. It is apparently incredibly controversial because Sebastian Stan plays Donald Trump. Jeremy Strong plays his political fixer, Roy Cohn. And apparently in the film, Donald Trump, his wife, Ivana. The screenplay is from Vanity Fair journalist Gabriel Sherman. Gabriel Sherman is most famous for, during the Fox News sort of heyday, maybe 10 years ago, writing stories about Fox that were just patently not true over and over. But now he's written a screenplay, and it's about the evils of Donald Trump. According to the Washington Post, when the lights rose, the applause was instant and robust, with Cate Blanchett and Cynthia Erivo somehow leading the charge down the orchestra seats near Abbasi and Stan. There had been spots of laughter, especially during moments of physical comedy, like when Trump slips on ice while courting Ivana and boastfully telling her he knows how to ski. But by and large, it is a very dark and chilling origin story. Stan's Trump is not a clown, but a vicious killer, as the character categorizes his ambition. In details that seem to be based on a 1990 divorce deposition from Ivana Trump, we see him go under the knife in gory detail to get liposuction and a scalp reduction surgery as a solution to his growing love handles and bald spot. And we watch when, as Ivana also alleged in that deposition, Trump pushes her to the floor of their home during an argument and rapes her. He's also depicted receiving oral from a topless blonde in Atlantic City while married. Apparently, the Trump campaign says that they're going to file a lawsuit to attack the film. Okay, but again, if the idea here is that this star-studded affair is going to somehow damage Donald Trump, wrong approach, guys. That ain't going to do bleep all. The reality is that if Donald Trump loses this election, then that's largely on Trump because he has every systemic advantage right now. Joe Biden is a terrible candidate. A huge number of people who were lukewarm on Trump are now hot on Trump because Trump is not Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has proved himself to be an awful, awful leader of the free world. The left can attack Trump with all the slings and arrows they can muster with regard to personal attacks and dumb lawsuits. It ain't going to make a difference. The only person in this election who can defeat Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And he seems to be running, believe it or not, a much more disciplined campaign this time around. We all spend way too much time on our phones, but the scary part is your phone carrier collects data on whatever it is you've been doing. Companies have even admitted to it. They say it so they can better understand your interests. What they actually want to do is sell your activity to advertisers, stuff like the sites you've visited and what you've been up to online. The more they can get on you, the larger their paycheck becomes, which is why I use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is an app that prevents your phone carrier from being able to see the sites you visit and sell it off to third parties. All it takes is one button tap. Your network data is encrypted and rerouted through ExpressVPN's secure servers for ultimate privacy. ExpressVPN shields your web browsing and protects all your network data, so you can stay private even when you're using your favorite apps. Whether you're an iPhone, Android, or tablet user, ExpressVPN works on all those devices. The best part is one subscription can be used on up to 5 devices at the same time. Stop letting companies invade your privacy. Visit expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show to get the same VPN I use. Use my link, get 3 extra months free at expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show. Again, that's expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show to get started. Joe Biden's unbroken series of epic screw-ups continues. Yesterday, he was speaking at Jewish American Heritage Month. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, but I guess it's a thing now. And this is, again, Joe Biden trying to play both sides of the table. On the one hand, Israel is committing possible human rights violations, according to the State Department, and they have to be barred from using certain weaponry. And they certainly can't go into Rafah, where the last 4 brigades of Hamas are. That would be really bad, and uncover all the terror tunnels with Egypt, that, by the way, are large enough to drive trucks through. That would be really, really... On the other hand, he does like matzo ball soup. So here was Joe Biden speaking. What he says here, he name checks a person named Hersh Goldberg Poland. Hersh Goldberg Poland is an American hostage to Hamas being held in the Gaza Strip, who Joe Biden has effectively abandoned because he says that Israel should not exert more military pressure in Gaza, and he has no plan for actually getting those people out of the Gaza Strip, short of allowing Hamas to continue to rule the Gaza Strip. He announced that Hersh Goldberg Poland was present at this event before realizing, oh, wait, he's a hostage.
My administration is working around the clock to free the remaining hostages, just as we have freed hostages already. And here with us today is Hersh Goldberg Poland, and it's still, he is not here with us, but he's still being held by Hamas.
Oh, well, that's awkward. I wonder maybe you should do something about that, sir. But don't worry. Joe Biden says that the United States is going to try to get the hostages help, which is weird because he has not.
The trauma of October 7th and its aftermath of the deadliest day the Jewish people have undergone since the Holocaust is still fresh and ongoing with many of you. We have parents of someone being held hostage right now, and we're going to get them home. We're going to get them home, come hell or high water.
Honestly, if you're attending this event with Joe Biden because you believe that Joe Biden is going to get the hostages home, you're delusional. I don't know what you're thinking. And meanwhile, the Democratic Party also had a big day yesterday because it was the anniversary of the death of Michael Brown. You'll remember that Michael Brown was the young man from Ferguson, Missouri, who robbed a convenience store using force, then was walking down the street, accosted by a police officer, proceeded to reach inside the police officer's car, punch the police officer, grab at his gun, fire a shot inside the car, try to run around, and then, when caught, turned around and charged the officer before being shot. This led to the Ferguson riots of 2014, spurred on by the president of the United States at the time, Barack Obama, who suggested that people would not make up a story like hands up, don't shoot. Remember, the entire media parroted a lie from a friend of Michael Brown who said that Michael Brown had surrendered and then was shot in the back after putting up his hands and saying, don't shoot. And the entire left went around and became a new symbol of the BLM movement. BLM did not start with George Floyd. BLM started with Michael Brown. And you'll recall that there was a lie. The lie was hands up, don't shoot. There were T-shirts. There were marches. All sorts of stuff. You remember this? Well, it turns out, according to Eric Holder's own DOJ under Barack Obama, that in fact, Michael Brown had attacked a police officer, was not shot in the back, was shot in the front, was charging a police officer, and hands up, don't shoot was a total and complete fabrication and lie. It doesn't matter because the myth is more important than the reality. So the Democratic Party, the woke members of the Democratic Party decided that it was time to stand up for Michael Brown once again. It is truly amazing how a criminal who attempted to shoot a police officer has become the face of the Black Lives Matter movement. But again, you got to pick the worst examples to demonstrate fealty to the cause. So here is Cori Bush, Ferguson congresswoman, trying to make a big deal out of it because, of course, she wouldn't be famous or in Congress if it were not for the death of Michael Brown.
Michael Brown should have turned 28 years old. The last birthday he celebrated and will ever get to celebrate was his 18th. Just 81 days after his 18th birthday, a Ferguson police officer killed him. In a just world, Mike Brown would be with his loved ones right now, celebrating another year, dreaming of his future as he blows out the candles on his birthday cake. But instead, we are only left with the memories of who he was.
Yeah, who he was, the guy who robbed a convenience store and tried to shoot a cop. That'd be who he was. The attempt to rewrite incidents like what's truly amazing is there are, in fact, incidents of tremendous police misconduct. This is not one of them. But they have to keep pushing out the lie. Because, again, this goes back to the original supposition that I brought up at the beginning of the show. The left believes that everyone is good. Not just they have a good heart and then original sin entered the world, but that everyone is good, like throughout. And it's only the systems that are bad. It is our evil systemic racism that led to the death of Michael Brown. Today, he'd be walking on the moon with NASA if it were not for his murder at the hands of a police officer, which is not true. It is not true. Jamal Bowman did the same routine. He put out a tweet suggesting something similar. He said, Mike Brown should be celebrating his 28th birthday today. Mike was just 18 years old when he was killed by a police officer. Black people continue to be targeted by police who view us as a threat. Well, it turns out that you're viewed as a threat when you punch a police officer and reach through the window of his car and fire his gun. We need justice and accountability so black boys can grow into black men in peace. Actually, what you need is fathers in the home and law and order in major American cities. That's what you need. But that would, again, go to personal responsibility as opposed to the sort of broad systemic changes that Jamal Bowman is pursuing. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.